Hello, everybody, and welcome to day 4 of the Mary's Mini Experience, like I call it. We're experiencing something new. Some of you have already done this, and some of you haven't, and I am one of those who haven't. So for me, even though I have been whole food, plant-based, and a mcdougaller for 10 years, I never really tried the Mary's Mini. I attended several times the True North Health Center, also in Santa Rosa, California, where they specialize in water fasting, but they also do regular whole food plant-based programs. And I have done fasting, and it is an amazing experience. But I never tried the Mary's Mini. So here we are. I want to once more clarify the guidelines because it seems that maybe some of you haven't seen the 2 videos that I made in preparation of the Mary's Mini. If you haven't watched them, just please go to my YouTube channel, which is plantemas.com. You can also find it if you type my name, Gustavo Tolosa, and it's right there. Okay, so watch those orientation sessions because I explain a lot of this there. Although I made a mistake in the first one where I said that I was going to do potatoes and sweet potatoes, and that is not correct. According to the guidelines of the Mary's Mini, you either choose white potatoes or you choose sweet potatoes for starch, but you don't combine those. In just this 10 days, okay, of the Mary's Mini, that doesn't apply to your regular plant-based eating. Okay, so let me read the guidelines straight from the website of Dr. mcdougall, and this is the most current one. Okay, so it says, Mary's Mini mcdougall diet is a trimmed down, fast-acting modification of the mcdougall program. This program takes the guesswork out of planning your meals. And we highly recommend using Mary's Mini mcdougall diet while you learn how to navigate this lifestyle change. This is by far the easiest and most sustainable way to learn this way of eating and stick to it. And then he says, note, this is a nutritionally sound program that you may want to follow either temporarily or for a lifetime. Okay, and then here there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there are 4 steps, and this is a PDF that you download that has several pages because there's 4 pages of the guidelines, and then there are several pages of how to cook beans and rice and things like that. But I'm going to read to you the 4 steps. Step 1, pick your starch. Okay, so what it says here, which ones are naturally your favorite? Corn, potatoes, rice, beans. Okay, it gives you 4 choices. And then we would learn that it's really 3 choices. Okay, so that's the easy part. You choose a starch. And there really are 3. There aren't 4 or 5 or 6. Choosing one that you already love is very helpful. Of course, if we're going to be eating one starch for 10 days for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, we need to like it. Then it says, cook up a large batch to get you through 3 to 5 days. That's step number 1. Now, step number 2, pick your veggie. Choose sides of non-starchy vegetables. This can be the same or a different choice each time. That means that you don't have to eat broccoli for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It could be broccoli for breakfast, Swiss chard for lunch, asparagus for dinner. They can change. Or if you want to keep them the same, go ahead and keep them the same. Fresh or frozen is all a matter of preference. Either is acceptable. So that was number 2. Number 3, prepare. Meal preparation is now a matter of thawing out or heating up these foods. You can place your warm starch on a plate separate from the vegetables or mix them all together. And then the fourth step is called use condiments. While this food is very simple, it should still be palatable and tasty for you. Use your favorite seasonings and condiments, salsa, ketchup, barbecue sauce, etc., as long as they are oil-free. I have read every single word of the McDougall diet guidelines. Then, on the second page, it says what did McDougalls eat. And there is a very important note, okay, for those of you who have been upset about putting a little bit of beans and rice. I am sorry, but it says it's here, okay? It says, we don't recommend making legumes your primary starch. But if you combine it with something like potatoes or rice and keep it to under a cup a day, you are still following the Mary's Mini guidelines. So I personally, I won't combine beans with potatoes because I'm happy with potatoes and it's 10 days. If I'm not talking about for the rest of my life. In regular eating, sometimes I do, but usually I keep the starch simple like this. So that is very important because some of you have been following the McDougalls for 30 or 40 years, and you have and you learned a Mary's Mini version that was perhaps even more trimmed down and simple, where they didn't allow any combinations, but now they do. Okay, so I just want you to be aware that these are the current guidelines. And then another page, number 3, it says breakfast, lunch, dinner. And it gives you just basic ideas. For example, if you choose potatoes, it says hash browns for breakfast, baked potatoes for lunch, mashed potatoes for dinner. If you choose sweet potatoes, grated sweet potatoes for breakfast, baked sweet potato for lunch, mashed sweet potato for dinner. If you chose rice, rice with greens for breakfast, rice with carrots for lunch, rice with veggies for dinner. And if you chose corn, it says corn tortillas for breakfast, plain corn for lunch, and polenta for dinner. And it does not mention beans. Beans is not listed here, okay? That means that beans can be eaten 1 cup or less per day combined with something else, but they're not the main starch. Then there is something that I personally think is just a little confusing, but it's I understand why it's here. It says, here is a sample list of foods to choose from. And it says starches on one column and non-starches in the other. Because in the list of starches, it says barley, beans, brown or wild rice, corn, lentils or peas, millet, oats, quinoa, sweet potatoes, white potatoes, and yams. So they have listed all pretty much the possible starches, but page 1 overrides all of that because page 1 says that your starch should be potatoes or sweet potatoes or rice or corn. I assume that the other starches, like maybe millet, I don't think it would be very fun to have to eat millet for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or any types of snack, in my personal opinion, or quinoa. So I think they listed here because maybe they allowed a small amount to combine with something, but it's not even said that. They don't even say that. Now, the non-starchy vegetables, there is a list, and we all know what they are, so I'm not going to go through the non-starchy vegetables. But those are the main, I think that if we just keep things simple, like Mary intended it at the very beginning. Choose one starch and stay with that as much as possible. And in the case of rice, if you want to add a little bit of beans, go ahead and add it as of now. And then choose any type of non-starchy vegetables. Fruit, again, is not mentioned in these current guidelines. So if we were going with these and I don't see any, I would assume that I'm not supposed to eat fruit. But on the other hand, fruit was allowed at one point in Mary's meeting. So I think that there are gray areas, and maybe we shouldn't obsess too much as long as we keep the heart of the program as pure as possible, again, which is choose one starch and eat it for every meal, and then combine it with some veggies and put some spices and herbs to make it more palatable. And that's the heart of the program. So if you do have now, after I read all that and after I said all of this, if you have any further questions, go ahead, send me an email, and I will gather the questions in case that they repeat, and I will send them to Mary McDougall and see if we can get some more clarification, okay? So I want you to see here one more. I think I showed this, but I'm going to show it one more time. Okay, this is Dr. McDougall's website. There are Star McDougallers on their website that they feature. At one point, I was featured in this, and there are many others. If you want to watch the video, and this is a long time ago, so you can see that I was still, I hadn't lost all my weight. But you can watch this video if you want. I'm going to send you the link to this. But what I also want to show you is if you just go to recipes here, and then there is this wonderful button right here, the magnifying glass. You will get a lot of different, let's say that I chose rice. Okay, so now what you get is a bunch of recipes here, recipes. Okay, so you have a lot of recipes that include rice. You'll just have to go through them and make sure that you are not, that is mostly rice and they're not like breakfast apple rice, maybe if you don't want to use a fruit, or rice milk, which we're not using. But you have a lot of recipes. You have at least 7 pages. Okay, so use this feature because it's very, very useful. Okay, so that's one thing I want to show you. The other thing I wanted to show you is some pictures, because some of you are so kindly sending me pictures. Oh, this is a photo of one of the McDougall programs that I attended with Mary. Here is someone who sent me a photo. It says, here's my dinner with salad. Well, the salad is not shown there. And a cauliflower stew with cauliflower, cabbage, mushrooms, tomato, onion, garlic, spinach to be eaten over Yukon Gold potatoes. So you have the starch, the potatoes, and then you have a number of non-starchy vegetables. According to the guidelines, it seems to me that it says choose sides of non-starchy vegetables. This can be the same or a different each time. It says sides, so I don't know if it's supposed to be one. I usually do one, but in this case, there are several non-starchy vegetables there. So, you know, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Hash browns with broccolini, which is right there, tomatoes, SOS-free ketchup on the hash browns with sauté asparagus and tomatoes, salt, oil, sugar-free barbecue sauce, air-fried French fries with ketchup right there. Okay. And one of you sent me this very interesting email that said, "Thank you for doing this. I finally am taking care of me better." And you say, "Here are my green hydroponic tower photos. One Aerospring tower and 3 towers we made from watching several YouTube videos. I've seen these and I think they're so cool. And you grow vegetables like that. I just won't. I'm not that dedicated, so I won't do that. But I do have a garden in the backyard, and I grow several vegetables. But this is really neat. I eat a lot of greens. You say I put them cooked with onion and garlic in quart jars in my fridge, and then there they are. Okay, and I put there greens for nitric oxide production, which we all know, Dr. Esselstyn, that this is crucial for our lining of our arteries to heal and to keep healthy, so that hopefully a heart attack we're heart attack proof, like he says. All right, and then finally, let me answer some questions here. One of you say that I find that I want to, when it gets dark, okay, at about 5:30 where you live, I find that I want to watch Netflix more when it's cold, and I don't like to walk outside as much when it's dark. I have a stationary bike in the garage and try to motivate myself to ride for 20 minutes, but the darkness really seems to draw out depression in me. I try to make sure I am on track with B12 and D3. And so she's asking if I've heard anything like that. Well, yeah, personally, I have an issue with exercise because I don't really like it. So I have had a few sessions with Dr. Lyle and JP, who are wonderful coaches. And JP, Jean-Pierre said, sometimes it's just choosing a different word. Instead of thinking that I'm going to exercise, replace the word exercise with movement. And so it's like, well, today I'm going to move. I can move while I'm cooking. I could be doing some squats. I could, be doing some push-ups when I'm working on my desk. I can walk up the stairs 4 times. You can add movement throughout the day. The other thing that he said is sometimes we set expectations that are too high. And that is true. So he says that with many of his clients, he has had success by starting with 5 minutes. And he says, do you think you can do bike, or do you can go outside and walk for 5 minutes? Oh, well, yeah, 5 minutes. Okay, let's start with that. So you start with 5 minutes. And most of the times the person is going to say, wow, well, it's already over. Yeah, well, do you want to do 2 more minutes? Sure, that's 7 minutes. The next day, you say, well, if I did 7, today I can do 10. And you start increasing like that. And that is a really smart way to get to a goal, rather than setting up the goal up there and like saying, I'm going to give up salt, sugar, oil, flour, all at once. Okay, start with 1. Or I'm going to lose 120 pounds. Well, that's great, but start with, okay, I'm going to lose my first 5 pounds. So breaking down the goals seems to work with a lot of people. Okay, so another questions. Unlike you, I love sweets. So I'm hearing that one can live on the sweet potato diet, but I don't like to peel the sweet potatoes. So, but I don't like to eat the sweet potatoes with the peel. So you peel. And so you say, did I just throw out 60% of the vitamins and minerals? Or can I still toss the peelings because the meat of the potato has enough nutrients? Okay, so the skin of a sweet potato has huge amounts of fiber, which is essential that we have it. So about 65% of the fiber is in the skin. Now, when we eat this way that we're eating a whole food plant-based diet, we're eating beyond the requirements of fiber. So I wouldn't worry if you're eating this way. Um, yes, the skin also has nutrients, but that doesn't mean that the flesh of the potato doesn't have any. So how about, my question is, how about if you eat a few sweet potatoes without skin and a few with skin, and you make a deal with yourself? Or that you eat it with the skin, but to make it more sweet, like you say, you make a sweet potato sandwich. And make a sweet potato sandwich is when you have two slices of sweet potatoes, and in the middle, you put a few slices of ripe banana that is very sweet. And you make like a cookie sandwich, and it's delicious. So maybe that way you will be able to eat the skin since you're adding another element of sweetness. So then you say, I decided that perhaps I could handle becoming a pressure cooker master. Where does one go to get plant-based pressure cooker recipes? Are there any videos, etc.? So I'm saying to you, a pressure cooker or an instant pot does make things easier and faster. Okay, and so in my YouTube channel, most of the videos that I use are using the Instant Pot. So you can find many over there. Also, you can do a quick search on the internet with whole food plant-based recipes for Instant Pot, and you'll get some. And then finally, there is this book that is called Vegan Under Pressure. I like the title. And that is a book with all recipes for a pressure cooker, Vegan Under Pressure. Okay. Then finally, somebody else asks, when you say beans have too much protein, are you including green beans and whole beans in that mix? And several doctors recommend that we have beans every day. Dr. McDougall doesn't say that you cannot have beans every day. He says to limit it to 1 cup a day. What about bodybuilders? Well, bodybuilders have a higher requirement of protein. Someone would have to check with a nutritionist or a dietitian to see what level that is, because that is not, I don't know what that is. And then you ask if there is a video on this topic by Dr. McDougall, and I will send you in the email a video that is called Everything You Need to Know About Protein. And it's very good. And also there is one of the chapters in Dr. McDougall's book, The Starch Solution. One of the chapters is dedicated entirely to protein. To me, The Starch Solution is a must-have book because it's one of the most brilliant books, in my opinion, my humble opinion, that Dr. McDougall wrote. Even though he wrote over 10 bestseller books, and they're all brilliant. All right, so one little thing to say about protein. As we age, we naturally lose kidney function. Even if we eat healthy, we will lose, like Dr. McDougall says in many of his videos and writings and books, we lose about 20-25% of kidney function without doing anything, just because of wear and tear, okay? So to me, that is significant, but I'm still safe. Now, when you have excessive amounts of protein, even if it's plant protein, if it's animal protein, then it's even worse. When you have excessive amounts of protein, the kidneys the kidneys are the organs that will work over time to get the protein out of your body every day, because protein has to be excreted. It has to be taken out of the body. It's not kept like starches or like fat that has to go out. So an excessive amount of protein will gradually, not overnight, but will gradually also diminish your kidney function. That is why people who are on dialysis or have serious kidney disease, they have a very reduced amount of protein today. All right, so those were the questions today. And now, if you have any questions, I'm going to start reading the chat here. And if you want to unmute and ask away or comment. Isn't there a guide of not eating starch and fruit together, or was it fat and fruit? I am what there is a recommendation is that you don't combine starch with fat, okay, if possible, because that's how the fat gets into your cells and you become insulin resistant, like a potato with meat and a potato with butter, cream cheese and cheese and all that. But I'm not aware of any guidelines with combining fruit and starch, okay? Yes. Is Christine there? Would you like to ask a question?
Yes. Well, actually, it's not a question. I just wanted to offer up a recipe that I have made. Actually, I may have made it since one time I did your 7-day reset, where you combined, I believe it was butternut squash with potatoes. And so I make what I call a 50-50 soup. So I take 3 pounds of potatoes. It can be any kind of potatoes, sweet potatoes, white potatoes. You can do a combination of the two. And I do 3 pounds of that. And then I do 3 pounds of non-starchy vegetables. So I always have onions. I always have garlic. I may put mushrooms in. I make zucchini is my favorite. But you could do broccoli, cauliflower, what have you. And just so that as long as it's 3 pounds compared to the 3 pounds of potatoes, you put it in the Instant Pot with 1 cup of water. And I usually cook it for 20 minutes because I just want to make sure, because I don't cut everything real tiny. I just throw it in like Chef AJ does with her cauliflower bisque soup. And then when
Uh-huh.
it's done, I used to put it in the blender, but I don't do that anymore. I take a potato masher and I mash it, and it is so good, and it's an
Mm.
automatic 50-50 plate, and it's Mary's Mini compliant. I put seasoning in depending on what I'm doing. You can do Mexican seasoning, or you can do more of an Italian type. Sometimes I just use the Kirkland's that seasoning that's non-salt, and I'll put some of that in. It's very good, and it's very versatile because you can just mix it up with the kind of potatoes and the kind of vegetables that you do. It's super good. And if you don't have an Instant Pot, you can just put it in a great big pot and just cook it until it's soft, and then you just do the same thing. But it's very good. It's very compliant, and I thank you for the idea.
All right. Thank you. That's a great reminder about that. Very good. There is no guideline in Mary's Mini about washing the rice, but I like to wash the rice. I always see things, little bitty things, even if you wash it 2 or 3 times. So usually, sometimes I don't, then I forget, but usually I wash the rice 3 times, about 3 times. Okay, so, and especially if you're concerned about starch level, which really you shouldn't, but let's say that you are, then some of the starch will go with the water. Okay, so that's all I can tell you about the washing the rice. Any any other comments or ideas or questions? I made a video that I'm going to send you. I'm proud of this video. It's really good. It's one of my favorite potatoes, ideas. I just never got around to making the video. So this is a new video, and it is the roasted rosemary potatoes. Oh my goodness, I really can eat that all the time because they're crispy on the outside, creamy on the inside. I love rosemary, but if you don't like rosemary, you could put another herb or don't put any. And that video is going to go in the email that you will receive in a little while. Okay, and then it's going to be in my YouTube channel, so you have access to it at any time. And I will also give you the link to the crispy breakfast taters. That is Chef AJ's recipe. I also made a video of that, so you will get that as well. All right. Could you update us on arsenic in rice? Dr. Greger has a good amount in nutritionfacts.org about this. The main thing is, this is what I think. Yes, rice from different parts of the world have more arsenic than others. You can find this out with a quick search on the internet. So that's number one. Try to get rice from parts of the world. I don't know them by memory, but I know that California rice is pretty safe, but there are other parts of the country and of the world, and you'll just search for that. And the other thing is that I don't worry too much about it. Like Dr. mcdougall also says, there aren't any cases of death for overconsumption of rice. So since I don't personally eat rice every day, I probably eat rice twice a week. So I don't worry about it. And because I do the 7-day detox every month for myself, and I eat such large amounts of fiber and water, then that flushes out a lot of these toxins. So that's how I deal with it. Otherwise, I would probably start getting obsessed and never eat rice again. And I don't want to give up eating rice because I like it. Okay. All right. Could you update us? Okay. Dr. mcdougall says there is arsenic in fruit juice. I'm thinking he said as much as in rice, but I can't remember. But he says avoid rice grown in the southern U.S. because more arsenic in the soil. Rinse and eat pension. Okay. All right. Very good. I will research that so I can bring you another thought in our next meeting. Thank you again for being here. It makes it very fun. I just continue to learn and remember all this all of this knowledge that we gather, and it's very helpful. Okay, I don't see anything else in the southeast, I guess, U.S. Arsenic comes from fields that used to produce cotton. They added the arsenic to kill the, what is that? Bald weevils. Okay, that's a new, I guess those are little bugs. That's a new word for me.
Yeah, somebody asked about combining Yukon Gold and russet potatoes.
Oh, okay. Combining.
Do you see that? Yeah.
Oh, is it okay to combine Yukon Golds and russet potatoes? Well, again, I'm just going here to the guidelines, and it says potatoes. And I would have to ask, maybe that's a good question. Okay, types of potatoes, but it doesn't say anything about not combining different kinds of potatoes. So if I'm going with this, I would say that it is okay. How would you combine them? Like, have a bowl of Yukon Golds and then another of russet, or mash them together, or because I usually don't combine potatoes, different types. I either do red potatoes, or I do another type of potatoes for potato salad.
I combine when I'm low on one, I just have one or something, and then I'll combine them with others.
Oh, okay. But it's not like an every meal, every day thing, right?
Hi, Gustavo. This is Hira.
Okay.
That was my question.
Hi, Hira. All right.
Combining mean, should I have, because I have both, could I have, one at one time I have Yukon Gold and another meal have russet potatoes. That's what I've been doing for 3 days.
Okay. Okay. Again, by looking at these guidelines that I printed, it seems okay, but I am going to write down this question, and by the end of the 10 days, at some point, I will send questions to Mary McDougall, and hopefully, I mean, she's always very nice to answer, so I'll hopefully, get an answer for that. But I assume it's okay. Types of potatoes, okay, and if you can come back. Anybody here that has done the Mary's Mini way back when Mary just created it, and know if she had something to say about this?
I did it ages and ages ago. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure that any potato, any time, as long as it's the white potato, I'm pretty sure that that's the thing that keeps us kind of having the
Okay, right,
monotony. So
right. Yeah,
flavors
because
are very similar. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The consistency sometimes is different, but it's still white potatoes. Okay. Very good. Well, I've had one of my favorite breakfasts, which is hash browns that I made myself, homemade, in little cubes, like the ones you saw in the video that I sent you, I think the first day, and steamed broccoli. And now for lunch, I'm going to have hash browns again. These are potatoes with red bell peppers chopped and onion, and that's the hash browns. And for lunch, I will make my green mixture, which is what I eat on really almost every day, if not every day. And that consists of a large onion chopped, 4 or 5 or 6 garlic cloves chopped, um, and then a green. Today I have Swiss chard, and I lightly sauteed with water. Today I have mushrooms, and I love mushrooms, so I'm adding chopped mushrooms to that. And that's my green mixture, and I use different types of spices each time to vary. So I'm gonna have hash browns with my green mixture. Keep sending photos. I'm going to take a photo because I keep forgetting, and by the time I'm done eating, I remember that I wanted to take a picture, and so I'm going to take a picture so I can show you. But it's very simple. Okay.
And Gustavo, those videos that you sent yesterday, I found all of them were so helpful. I really love those
God.
videos.
Okay, all right. I'm going to send you a funny video. One time I asked Dr. McDougall if he would be up to doing something different. And what I said is, I'm going to have 58 questions for you. And I'm going to fire the 58 questions very fast. And you would answer with short answers. But it'll be more personal questions so that people get to know you more as a person. And it was very popular. A lot of people, thousands of views, but I'm going to send it to you. It's in my YouTube channel. You might have to scroll down, but so that you don't have to do that, I'll send it to you so that you can also have some fun while we do this. All right. Well, I will see you all hopefully tomorrow, and keep in touch. I like to receive emails, and have a great day. Okay. Bye, everyone.